Alright, welcome back. Did anyone enjoy the pizza? Yeah. Anyone have a drink or two? Drink more. Right, so thank you. We're going to get into the next talk. Now I just want to give you a couple of thoughts as we move. So the next talk's about 20 minutes. It's around the BCBS product and how you can get an 18% at the moment return on your money. And then we'll go straight into Lee's talk. That'll be about 40-45 minutes. So that'll be an hour and 5 minutes. And then once we break from there, you can grab a last piece of pizza, coffee, and anything you want. I forgot to mention, there's some books at the back if you'd like to buy them. There's one that's really good, Dr. DeMartini's How to Make a Hell of a Profit and Still Go to Heaven. It breaks all of your paradigms about the religious issues around money. They're normally about 200-300 rand. You can have them for 100 bucks. Okay, so it's 100 rand, you can get that. And then my NLP coach, Gail, is here. We've been working this year specifically on my money consciousness and my money blueprint. And I promise you the effect it's had on me is amazing, and our bottom line and bank account. Her business card's at the back. Just grab one. She's really, really, really amazing. And everyone should have an NLP coach. There's a lot of stuff that comes up you won't believe that we can work with. One of the things we worked with was when I was about 4 years old, I got my first pocket money. And I got my pocket money and I went and I bought sweets. And when I got back, my mom said, "What have you done with your pocket money?" I said, "I bought sweets." And she cucked all over me and she told me that clearly I can't manage money properly and blah, blah, blah. Seriously, I'm 4 years old, okay? And that had such an effect on my life. And it was through that process that we found it and cleared it. Okay, so you don't know the things that are holding you back. And someone who's really good and gentle and lovely and beautiful, like Gail, can really help you. So if you'd like to, please do. Right, I'm going to introduce another lovely lady, Fiona. Oh God, I met Fiona about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago at BNI. If you're into business and you haven't looked at BNI, you should do so. It's a really cool way of networking and finding people to give you referrals. I looked at a one-to-one with her, and when she showed me what she's going to show you now, we were just mind-boggled. All right, we started a year ago with 35,000 rand. 6 months later, we put in another 35. About 4 months ago, we put in 75, and then another 75. We got about 250 or 300,000 rand with this product, and every month we get in now 18% compounded. I say that because she's shouted at me for not saying 7.5% above prime. All right, so Fiona studied at UNISA Data Metrics Diploma. In her career, she's done a whole bunch of stuff, including being a missionary for 6 years, 40 years in the computer industry. In 2015, she became an independent consultant for BCBS and is now a partner in the BCBS channel. She's a lovely, lovely, lovely lady. If you spend some time with her, you can't help falling in love with her. She's just so beautiful and lovely and patient, etc., etc. So give her all of your attention, short 20 minutes, and please give her a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. You know, I've been around a long time. I'm past the 70-year mark that we all feel we're entitled to according to DeMartini. But I have loved... Oh, I'm not too close. Is that better? Okay, I'll try and talk softer. Can you all hear me at the back? No. What shall I do? Move over here? Yeah. That better? Yeah. All right. So I've had a really, really interesting, lovely life, and I loved every minute of my 50-odd years in corporate. But you know, it happened that I found my passion way after retirement at 73. I have found my passion because this product changes lives. I've had so many people in my age group say, "Fiona, I'm so scared I'm going to outlive my money." Well, I can help them triple and quadruple the monthly income that they're getting with this wonderful product. So without any further ado, I'll just quickly go through it. This is a presentation done by one of my colleagues in the BCBS. There are 9 channels that manage people that are doing exactly what I'm doing. And he shared this presentation that he gives to his clients with us. Now he'd been a financial planner for more than 15 years, a really successful one, and he gave up that to do just this. So he said, there are certain challenges to consider when you want to invest, when you want to do something with your money. I'm not allowed to use the word invest because I'm not a financial planner. You have to look at the protection that whatever you want to go into, it offers you. You have to look at the costs that are linked to it, you have to look at the performance, and you have to look at the benefits that it brings on offer. Now, I'm just giving you a quick background on body corporates and bridging finance. Basically, for those that don't know, body corporates are formed when the first unit is transferred from the developer to a buyer in a sectional title development. They're governed solely by the Sectional Titles Act, which is incredibly detailed and protects body corporates to the hilt. Body corporates' only source of revenue is from owner levies. That is the only income they ever get. And the sole purpose of the body corporate is to maintain the common property of the development in line with owners' wishes, and to keep the value of the property up so that the owners don't lose money on the investment. Body corporates can't wait. When a special levy is agreed on by the owners, they cannot wait for everybody to pay the levy before they do essential maintenance work like fixing the plumbing, fixing the lifts, putting security in, fixing the fencing, etc. So the law actually protects them and allows them to take bridging finance. Bridging finance for body corporates are not new. It's been there for decades, since the inception of sectional titles. As far as BCBS is concerned, Justin Mason, he still is a sectional title fundi in the marketplace. He knows the sectional title law, best practice management, everything to do with sectional title. He knows inside out, and he started a consultancy business in the sectional title arena in the early 80s. 16 years ago, his clients came to him and said, Justin, we need help, we need money, we need bridging finance. And there are very few people that are doing bridging finance for body corporates. So he started this 16 years ago, helping his clients find bridging finance, and typically the entry level for bridging finance was about R1 million, and typically the interest levels were between 25 and 33% on the bridging finance. Bridging finance is expensive. Okay. In 2010, Justin approached Peter Thompson to say, Peter, please come and help me. Now, Peter Thompson had been a financial planner for more than 30 years and had very good contacts in the big corporate, arena. So Justin said, come and help me. And he looked at it and he said, I'm not into making the rich richer. I will only join you if I can actually roll this out as a product to Joe Soap, man in the street, and help him get a better return on his money. He says, because we put our money in the bank, we get 4.5%, 5.5%, 7.5%, 10% if you're very, very lucky, and the banks get a return of 35 to 40% on our money. So he likes to level the playing field. So Justin Mason gave him a target. He said, raise 40 million in 6 months. He raised it in 4 months from private individuals. So he was given the sole rights to raise bridging finance for BCBS loans to body corporates, only from private individuals. So that is how that came about. The protection that is on offer, it is very, very safe place to put your money because it's protected by law. And it's protected by law in 3 levels. The first is Section 15B of the Sectional Titles Act, which says that a body corporate can sell the property of an outstanding levy debtor in order to pay the outstanding levies to recover the debt. At that stage, the banks still have a veto against the sale. The next step is that they can sequestrate and get a judgment on the outstanding levy debtor, and then the banks no longer have a veto. The interesting thing about body corporates is that if you owe a body corporate 100,000 rand and you owe the bank 2 million on your property and you owe SARS money, even if the bank sequestrates you because you're not paying your bond, neither the bank nor SARS can get a cent of the proceeds of the sale of your property before the body corporate signs a certificate stating your obligation to the body corporate is fully met. That gives the body corporate first ranking creditor, and the way BCBS have structured the loans to body corporates is that the lender has a direct contract with the body corporate and is therefore a first line creditor as well. Is it 10 left? 10 gone? 10 left. Okay. Now, 11 years ago, the banks, because their main source of revenue is from bonds, they were lending body corporates money and getting about 33% interest on it, but because their main source of revenue is from bonds, they said, we will collectively go to the High Court and change the law. Standard Bank, Nedbank, ABSA and FNB collectively went to the High Court 11 years ago to appeal against the law. They were thrown out of court. They have since gone to the appellate division of the High Court 4 times and they've been thrown out 4 times. Very good reason. If one body corporate is dissolved and people lose their homes, people will not buy in sectional titles anymore, and the fabric of the building industry will just collapse. So that is the thing. You know that between 75 and 80% of properties that are sold, residential properties sold, are in body corporates. The body corporate, the sectional title portion of the building industry grew by 67% last year alone. Okay. The other protection offered, Edward Nathan Sonnenberg have drafted all the contracts that are used in the whole process of getting loans from individuals to the body corporates. IDS, Investment Data Services, they are the cash custodians. You know, one of the biggest things people say, it's just too good to be true, it's got to be a Ponzi scheme. Well, it cannot be a Ponzi scheme because BCBS never see the money. The money is all handled by Investment Data Services, who are the second largest cash custodian company, asset management company in the Southern Hemisphere. They have actually just been bought out by Sana. I only updated the slide yesterday. Sana is a very, very large, one of the largest fund managing companies in the world, and the head office is based in England. That, funnily enough, with Philip, one of Philip's clients, that was one of the things that made him make the decision in his due diligence process. I'm going to try and go a little bit quicker. The other protection that's offered is that BCBS do a very stringent due diligence process when a body corporate applies for a loan. One of the main criteria they have is that the ratio of the municipal value of the development has to be at least 5-to-1 to the value of the loan that they're asking for. So not only is it protected by law, but it is underwritten by property. You cannot lose your money with this unless there's war. That's the only risk there is in this product. In terms of costs, 100% of the money that you lend to the body corporate is allocated and you get interest on it from day one. There's not a cent of costs or commission that come off your hard-earned money. The costs to the body corporate, whatever the interest is that you get as a lender is what the body corporate pays in terms of interest. BCBS do a lot of value add to the body corporate, including monitoring the managing agents, monitoring the collection attorneys, monitoring the usage of the loan, and for that they get 2% per annum on the value of the loan. So that's where BCBS make their money, and the body corporate agrees to pay the cash raising fee, and that's where I get paid from. Okay. The only cost that there can ever be is, say someone puts in R1 million and it's growing beautifully, it actually compounds at 19.56%. And you carrying on well, and then suddenly you have a wobble in your life, you have to have an operation, you have to withdraw 100,000, you'll forfeit 10% of what you're withdrawing, so you'll only get 90,000. The reason for that is that there's a cost, we've got to find a willing buyer to replace that loan, and the cost linked to that is 10%. Performance, we have three products. The first one is a lump sum. You need 35,000 minimum, and that you get prime plus 7.5% on. The next one's a capital builder plan, maybe for the younger people who are putting money every month into saving for their kids' education or whatever. 18% there as well, prime plus 7.5. The current prime rate is 10.5. Interest is calculated daily, accrued monthly, and that is how it's compounding at 19.56%. Your money actually doubles in the capital growth plan in 36 months, 7 days. No, I'm lying now.
Just under 4.
Yeah, just under 4 years. In month 47, your money more than doubles. Okay. Now, this is just a slide that the Dean did to show the historical lending rates over a 20-year period. And the highest prime rate we've ever had in South Africa, I had a bond in those days, was 25.5%, and the lowest has been 8.5%. Now, if you speak to any of the gurus, they all say that the prime rate in South Africa is going to increase by about 5% over the next 6 years. So, now this is just a comparison that Dean did. He took this is a graph of the all-share index on average, how it grew over a 10-year period, and the straight line going upward is what you would get on prime plus 7.5%. So you can see the difference there in terms of on average how your money would have grown on the stock exchange compared to what it grows on a compounding prime plus 7.5%. I don't really I put much stake on this graph because it actually is subjective. However, it's based on a methodology devised by Fiorn Kroger, who are a very renowned financial group, and they had a methodology whereby they would capture risk and reward for each different asset class. So if you look at the one on the left, that's putting your money in the bank. The risk factor is very low, but you're actually getting less return than CPI on your money. The end one is BCBS. It's half the risk of having your money in the bank. I personally have 2 friends who lost more than 100,000 Rand when the Africa Bank collapsed. Not that they had their money in Africa Bank, but their bank had money in the Africa Bank. So there's less risk with BCBS than there is in having your money in the bank. The only risk is war. Carrying on with client benefit, 100% of the money deployed, little to no risk but high institutional returns, best possible annuity option. You can increase your retirement returns without increasing your monthly contributions. And the other thing that I find very, very comforting is that in 16 years that BCBS have been doing bridging finance for body corporates, not one lender has ever lost money and not got his full interest in 16 years. They've put millions and millions into these loans. It's phenomenal. The day you get your contract, which is between you and the body corporate, you already have your personal iCloud website, and everything that you would want to know about the body corporates that your money is going to is on that website before you even sign your contract. all the body corporate, the pictures of the body corporate, the financials, the trustee minutes, the municipal values, the debtors report, everything is there. You also get comprehensive electronic monthly statements that are sent to clients. It shows on the bottom part the interest earned every single day of the month, totaled, and then put on the statement at the top, and you can see how your money grows from month to month. And an SMS is sent to your cell phone, showing the interest that you earned and the total balance of your deployment. This is a real live case study that blew my mind. This is an individual who is 45. Since the age of 30, he had been saving towards his retirement on a balanced portfolio with a broker. And every year he had increased his savings by 10%. At 45, he came across somebody who was marketing BCBS, and at that stage the portfolio was predicted to grow by 8% per annum up to the age of 65. Just by stopping what he was doing on the portfolio and taking what he was saving and putting it into a prime plus 7.5% product with BCBS, just look at, oh, that's it. Oh, you know what? I haven't got the graph, but it's phenomenal, because instead of actually getting 11.97 million at retirement, he's getting 44 point something million. It's about 4 times what he would have got if he'd continued saving on that portfolio that he was working on. I've got a printed version of this if anyone's interested, just to show you the different role players. BCBS act as the facilitators, the reporters, the ones that send the information. They are purely facilitators in the process. They never, ever, ever see the money. So that gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling as well. And IDS are the ones that actually, you send your money to IDS send it to the body corporate. When the body corporate repays, it goes to IDS, and from IDS to you. And that's the website. Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. I'll give you a quick story. My mother-in-law, bless her soul, has a house and she rents it out. And essentially, what she does is she gets about 6,000 or 7,000 rand net effect out of that, 7,000 rand a month. So we actually did a little calculation, and if she were to sell for 1.1 million and put 1 million rand into BCBS, she would get 12,500 rand out a month instead of 7,000 from renting her house out. And there's no issues with geysers and gates not working and tenants not paying, etc., etc. And at the end of a 5-year period, the 1 million rand would still be intact. So really cool. We did talk into putting some money into that, and she was amazed. The first month she said, "Did I really make 1,100 rand interest this month?" We said, "Yeah, absolutely." So we're just getting Lee mic'd up, and she also has a presentation you have to get ready. But let me introduce her as we do so. One of the things, the many things I love about Lee is on her journey to Everest and back. 2 things happened. The one was that she said to us she was going to climb Everest, and I said to myself, Lee can never do that. Are you getting rained on? No, you're getting rained on there. And she did. The second thing that was amazing is that part of her journey was she got some advice from someone about climbing Everest, and this person said to her, "You can't make it." And so she just ignored him and found some other advice, and she did make it. Not only did she get up, but she got back down, because it doesn't count if you just get up, you actually have to return alive. Right, so Lee Den Hont is a businesswoman, an athlete, as you can see, an adventurer, and an optimist, the eternal optimist, who draws from her own experience to support the belief that nothing is impossible. And when you work with Lee, you know that's absolutely true. She has created a paradigm in her life that's outside of most of our paradigms, that nothing actually is impossible. Is your slideshow up?
Not yet.
Right, in September, she runs an event management company, Blue Platinum Events, servicing many of South Africa's top brands. In September last year, Lee won the award, South African Businesswoman of the Year in the entrepreneurial category. Okay, she's completed 5 Ironman endurance events, a number of 2 Oceans marathons, the Comrades, and many of South Africa's toughest races. On the 19th of May 2013, Lee became the 3rd South African woman to summit Mount Everest. Her motivation for doing so was to raise money to build a childcare facility to assist children in the Schwamberg community near Hartbeespoort. I actually think that possibly if she didn't have that mission and that vision, she may have given up, but she did it for those kids, I know. And next year, if that's not enough, my goodness, on the 10th of April, she'll be embarking on an ultra-distance race of 251 kilometers in the Sahara Desert. The endurance event is known as the toughest foot race in the world. Will you try and just give us some motivation on why in heaven's name anyone would want to try that? And the reason for doing that right here is to raise funds to build a clinic to provide medical support for the children and adults of the community, the Schwamberg community. So these passionate people, sport, and most importantly, her family. Please would you give her a very, very...
Thanks, Stephen. Thank you for that great intro. Is the sound okay, guys?
Yes.
You sure? Okay, Sunny. Thank you for that amazing intro, and thank you again for all the people that have made the effort to come to the rain on a Monday night to be here in this wonderful pizzeria. And Stephen, thank you so much for having the courage to put this together. It does take courage to put things together because there's no guarantee that people are going to come. And we've got a full house tonight, so everyone give yourselves a hand. Okay. Before I step into my presentation, I'd like to share a little secret with you. Okay. If I had my life over, I wouldn't do a single event. I wouldn't do a single talk. I wouldn't do a single run, an event. I wouldn't do any of that. I would be the lead dancer in a Broadway musical. Because I love to dance. Okay? And I think that there's no better way of getting to know one another but then to dance, right?
Yeah!
Okay. So I've put together a little medley. It's 60 seconds, guys. It's 60 seconds. There's 6 songs in there, all right? Everyone's to get onto their feet. You're going to face the person next to you and you're going to start to dance, all right? Everyone's going to move. You're going to have a good time. When the song changes, you move wherever it is, to forward or back, but by the time the song is done, and it's 60 seconds and there's 6 songs, you should have danced with everybody around you. Got it?
Yeah.
Everybody on your feet. Let's go. take you into this presentation, I want to share with you. I'm going to take you through some stories tonight that I've never shared with any audiences. The talk that I've been doing since my summit of Everest is called Be Inspired. I've done it to over 10,000 school children, I've done it to companies all over South Africa, and I take the audience up the mountain, I share with them the challenges of which I'm going to do tonight with all of you. But before I do that, I'm going to do something else. So whenever I am feeling uncertain about something, or just unsure, I phone my mother. So I phoned my mother about 3 weeks ago. I said, Mom, I need your advice. Stephen, amazing Stephen, has put together this evening, and I'm seeing this stuff unfold on Facebook. And when you put something on Facebook, it's out there, guys. It's out there about Everest Summiter, financial wealth, success, all these things. And I said, I'm not really sure how to package the talk. And my mom said 4 words to me, and she said, you know what? Just tell your story. And tonight I'm going to share my story with you. What I'm not going to do tonight, I'm not taking you through a balance sheet. I'm not going to teach you cash flow management. I'm not going to speak to you about debits and credits. But I'm going to inspire you to do what I've done all my life, and that's to dare to dream. So with Stephen, and I'm sorry, I'm a bit out of breath. You see, I love to dance. So you have a sip quickly. I beg your pardon. Stephen gave this great intro about being a top business person, about doing 5 Ironmen, about all these amazing things. I also want to share with you, I'm a very ordinary person. I'm 46 years old. I went to Victoria Girls High. I had a standard grade in maths. I got an E for matric. I think it was E for enough. I do have one qualification. I am a primary school teacher. I can teach up to grade 7. That's standard 5. So that's the other side of D, besides all these amazing things. Thank you so much, Stephen, for what you said. But in my preparation for tonight, I looked at certain things in my own life story that really defined what for me was success, and for what for me was living the life that I've imagined. And I'm going to share 3 stories with you because there was one formula that came to the fore, and that is what I would like to do tonight, to leave you with, not the cash flow, not the balance sheet, not the debits and credits, about the formula and the tool that I'd like to leave with you and share with you to live the life that you have imagined and to reach your own personal goals the way that I have. And I'm not saying it to say that I'm great or profile myself. I'm just saying that I dared to dream. And with that, I've been having the most incredible time. So this is the first story. It's called Just Give Me 20 Minutes of Your Time. I was 23 years old. It was in 1993. There was no Google and there were no cell phones. And I was sitting on the beach in Kenton with my partner at the time, and it was, I think, the 23rd of December. And I said to my partner, I've made a decision today. By the 1st of April, and listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, by the 1st of April next year, I will be working for either Nike, Reebok, or Adidas. And my partner, who's an amazing woman, looked at me and said, surely, you spent 1 year, I was 23, working for a company selling promotional sportswear. That's like a golf shirt with a 2-color logo on, that kind of stuff, right? And I'd been doing that for 1 year. And then she said, look, and I don't want to be personal, but you're a teacher. You're a primary school teacher. It didn't matter, I made a decision. We had gone through our holiday, and in January, got back to Cape Town. I was living in Cape Town at the time. And as I said, there was no Google. I got into the yellow pages, and I looked at the telephone number of Nike. There was a Cape Town office, Nike. And I picked up the phone, and I said, can I please speak to the person in charge? And they put me through to a man called Gary Fiorn. I said, hi Gary, my name is Lisa, and could you just give me 20 minutes of your time? He said, why? I said, if I could just come and see you, Mr. Fiorn, I just need 20 minutes of your time. And he afforded me those 20 minutes. I went to go and see him. I don't know if it was in that same week or the week afterwards. I said, Mr. Fiorn, I'll do anything to work for Nike, absolutely anything. He said, you know what, I'd love to. I can see your enthusiasm, I can see your passion, but the head office for Nike is not in Cape Town. This is a tiny regional office